The story of geopolitics is often told through wars, treaties, and speeches, but sometimes it is told through ports, steel and concrete, cranes and cargo ships, harbors and railways. These are the silent tools of power that decide who connects to the world and who gets left behind. Today, India's bold move in the Chabahar port of Iran has shaken the balance of power in the Indian Ocean and Central Asia, with Prime Minister Narendra Modi's government signing a long-term deal to operate and develop this strategic gateway. India has not only secured its place in West Asia's chessboard, but also outplayed China's aggressive Belt and Road moves. To understand why this matters, why it is making global headlines, and why it could change the course of India's foreign policy for decades, let us take a deep dive into the saga of Chabahar, the Indian Ocean, and the great game between India, Iran, and China. Imagine standing at Chabahar on Iran's southern coast, looking out at the Arabian Sea. Just a few hundred kilometers to the east lies Gwadar port in Pakistan, controlled by China under the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Chabahar and Gwadar are like two rival sentinels staring at each other across the water. But while Gwadar is China's pride, Chabahar has become India's answer. For decades, India wanted a way to bypass Pakistan and gain direct access to Afghanistan, Central Asia, and even Europe. The road through Pakistan was blocked by politics and hostility. The sea route through Chabahar opened a door that was once considered closed. This is not just about trade. This is about strategy, sovereignty, and survival in a contested region. Modi's government knew that time was running out. China was expanding rapidly, building ports from Sri Lanka to Djibouti, creating a so-called string of pearls around India: Gwadar, Hambantota, Kuok. All these names meant one thing: encirclement. If India did not act fast, it would be squeezed. Chabahar was the answer, and New Delhi moved decisively. Inking a 10-year agreement with Tehran, India committed not only to operate the port, but also to expand its infrastructure. Railways, warehouses, terminals, and even connections to Afghanistan's road network are part of the plan. This is how you turn a port into a gateway of influence. But geopolitics is never simple. Iran is under U.S. sanctions. Washington has long frowned upon countries doing business with Tehran. When India first pushed for Chabahar, there was skepticism. Would the Americans allow it? Would Iran trust India? Would China try to sabotage it? The answers came slowly but clearly. The U.S., despite its hostility toward Iran, carved out a special waiver for Chabahar because it helped stabilize Afghanistan. Iran, seeing India as a reliable partner, gave the green light. And China, already stretched with its debt-ridden projects, could do little but watch. Modi's gamble had worked. The significance of Chabahar is not limited to geography. It signals a bold India that is willing to challenge old assumptions. For decades, Indian foreign policy was careful, cautious, and often reactive. But with Chabahar, India has shown it can play offense. It can take risks. It can turn sanctions and rivalries into opportunities. By anchoring itself in Iran, India has entered a zone where China, Russia, the U.S., and the Gulf powers are all competing. That is not a small step. It is a declaration that India is ready to be a global player. Economically, the port is a game changer. Every container that moves through Chabahar carries not just goods, but also influence. Wheat shipments to Afghanistan, minerals from Central Asia, and energy supplies from Iran can now travel faster and cheaper. Indian businesses see new opportunities. Can traders see new lifelines? Central Asian republics see an alternative to Russian and Chinese dominance. This is soft power through hard infrastructure. And Modi knows that in today's world, influence follows trade routes. Strategically, Chabahar puts India at the crossroads of some of the world's most important regions. To the west, it opens doors to the Middle East. To the north, it connects to Central Asia. To the east, it stands as a rival to China's Gwadar. And to the south, it looks out at the Indian Ocean, where the future of global trade will be decided. Whoever controls these routes controls the game. And with Chabahar, India has positioned itself not as a spectator, but as a player. But challenges remain. Iran is not an easy partner. Its politics are volatile. Its economy is fragile, and its relations with the West are tense. Every time Washington tightens sanctions, investors hesitate. Every time Tehran faces domestic unrest, projects slow down. For India, managing this partnership will require patience, skill, and balance. But Delhi has already shown it can walk this tightrope. Buying oil from Iran despite US frowns, maintaining defense ties with Russia while engaging America. Balancing the Quad with BRICS. This is the art of Modi's foreign policy, multi-alignment. Critics argue that Chabahar is still small compared to China's projects. They point to Gwadar's flashy infrastructure and Hambantotti's giant terminals. But size is not everything. What matters is control, reliability, and sustainability. China's projects are drowning in debt, facing protests, and creating political backlash. India's Chabahar project, by contrast, is modest but steady, reliable but ambitious. It is built on partnership, not exploitation. And that difference could define its success. Internationally, the deal has been noticed. Washington, despite its rivalry with Tehran, quietly appreciates India's role. Russia, seeing India and Iran, finds reassurance that Delhi remains close. Gulf states, wary of Chinese dominance, see India as a stabilizing force. Even Afghanistan, struggling with Taliban rule, finds hope in Chabahar as a link to the outside world. This is the ripple effect of one port. It connects not just regions but also interests. For ordinary Indians, the story of Chabahar may seem distant. But in reality, it is about jobs, trade, and pride. Indian companies building railways in Iran create employment at home. Indian farmers selling wheat to Afghanistan find new markets. Indian engineers designing terminals showcase national skill. And above all, it is about dignity. The dignity of a nation that refuses to be blocked by geography or bullied by rivals. Modi's message is clear. India will find its own path, even if it has to carve tunnels through mountains or build ports in distant lands. The Chabahar deal also has symbolic power. It tells the world that India is not afraid of taking bold steps, even if they are risky. It tells China that encirclement will not work. It tells Pakistan that blocking India's access to the West is futile. And it tells the Indian people that their country is no longer content with slogans. It is building concrete realities. This symbolism matters because in geopolitics, perception often shapes reality. Yet the story does not end here. The real test will be in execution. Will India be able to deliver on its promises? Will the railways be built on time? Will the port expand as planned? Will traders actually use it? These questions will decide whether Chabahar becomes a true game changer or just another missed opportunity. The world will be watching. China will be watching. Pakistan will be watching. And most importantly, the people of India will be watching. As we step back and look at the bigger picture, we see that Chabahar is more than a port. It is a symbol of India's new foreign policy. A policy that blends ambition with pragmatism, tradition with innovation, and sovereignty with partnership. Modi has shown that India does not have to choose between Washington and Tehran, between Moscow and the Quad, between tradition and modernity. India can choose itself. And in choosing itself, India gains respect. The Chabahar deal may not make daily headlines like a military clash or a fiery speech. But in the long run, it could be more important because it builds foundations. It creates connections. It shapes futures. Wars destroy, but ports connect. And in that connection lies the true power of nations. So when we talk about Modi outplaying China in the Indian Ocean game, it is not just rhetoric, it is reality. Gwadar may shine for now, but Chabahar has substance. Hambantota may be bigger, but Chabahar is freer. China may invest billions, but India invests trust. And in the long game of geopolitics, trust often wins over money. The final word is this: India has entered a new era, where it does not wait for opportunities but creates them. Chabahar is proof. It is proof that India can think big, act bold, and lead smart. It is proof that geography is not destiny but strategy. And it is proof that when Modi said India will rise, he meant it not just in words but in ports, ships, and railways. The mountains may guard borders, the oceans may divide lands, but ports unite worlds. And Chabahar, the port of India in Iran, may one day be remembered as the place where India's rise as a true global power began.